It's long enough. Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another live commentary. This time we're doing Superman 3. I know it's really early in the morning. I don't care. I have to do this now, so I have some privacy. And the movie's over 2 hours, so with the end credits. So let's get started with Superman 3, the underrated one of this franchise. And I say underrated because this movie got so much shit when it came out because it was completely different from the first two. But I commend them for doing something different. And I like the fact that they did something, they have a new villain, they have a new storyline, and yeah, it's more comedic, but hey, they did that with Wonder Woman 84, but the difference is this movie's shorter than Wonder Woman 84, and I wanted to do this early so I don't have 18 people in the chat. And Richard Pryor doesn't bother me in this movie. I know he bothers a lot of people, but this was him in the early 80s, after his hard comedy was kind of softened. I miss Richard Pryor a lot. I think he was a very funny guy and good actor too. And him and Gene Wilder had really good chemistry in the 70s and in the 80s. Stir Crazy was hilarious. I saw that I think last year in 2017. I mean, 2019. Yeah. I know people have a problem with him, and they think that it's a movie. I haven't been employed in a long time either, but I still get things done because I go outside. I go take the spare change and I find money in the street. Yeah. So I don't starve to death. People like, how do I do it? I like to save my money that I do have from birthdays and Christmas and everything. Because again, I like to be conservative. I'm not a big spender like some people. And this beautiful girl enters the movie with a polka dot skirt. Pamela Stevenson. I forgot what her name is in the movie, but and every guy in the world is looking at her again, like Kristen Wiig in Wonder Woman 84. And I like that they have more women in this movie. Besides Lois, there's other women and Ursa. They're gone because they died at the end of Superman 2. So there's those cute little penguin toys. Foreshadowing because a few years later, about 10 years later, we had Batman Returns in the 90s. So Penguin was the next villain after. It is different, I know, but so was Super Spider-Man 3, and so was X-Men 3. The problem with X-Men 3 is that they killed off too many characters. You don't kill off a character so early in the film, especially a main character, It's not like this movie starts and then Lois dies in the first 10 minutes. No. They brought back most of the cast, and I really didn't want to deal with the chat today. Yes, that's why I wanted to do this early. The people could just leave their comments on this live stream later today. I just wanted to get it over with. It kind of starts like a sitcom, but hey, so did Wonder Woman 84. Like after the action scene in her flashback in the Olympics when she's a little girl, and then the scene in the mall, yeah, the movie becomes very comedic, and I'm like, some of it worked and a lot of it did not because it just made the movie too long. There's Superman, yeah. There's at least Clark is in the beginning of this movie. Annette O'Toole, yeah, it's good to see her in this movie because she was Lana, Superman's first love before he met Lois when he worked in Metropolis. In Smallville, that was his first love in the Smallville TV show as well. People just don't like when a movie goes from like real dark to real light. I mean, it happened with Batman Forever, but that had to. Batman Returns was so dark and so disturbing that some people, they were divisive. They didn't want their children to see Batman anymore, even though Batman is a very dark character, guys. Sorry. Robert Vaughn, yeah. Rest in peace, sir. We miss you. He was a good actor. I liked him in Man from Uncle. It's a good actor. I miss him a lot. So. And Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. She got reduced in this one because of the second one. At least Superman saves this guy that's drowning. I don't know why he's drowning inside of his car. He's not in the ocean, but hey, I'll take it. At least he's saving somebody. If this was Man of Steel, he would let that guy drown. And he is, and you see him as Superman early in the movie. You don't have to wait an hour for that to happen. People are like, Superman's barely in the movie. No, they focus on Clark more, like Iron Man 3 did with Tony Stark. Here we go. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, and also the evil Superman, they do it better here than they do with when they make even X-Men 3 when they turn Jean, from Jean Grey to freaking the Phoenix. They did it all wrong. I'm sorry. The Phoenix is not a split personality. He's not. There's Mark McClure. I always like him as Jimmy Olsen in all the films, even in 4, which we'll get to that one tomorrow. That one is garbage. That one I want the chat to be alive and well. People just didn't like this movie because it's comedic. Yeah. That's like hating Guardians of the Galaxy for being too silly. Again, those movies were meant to be not to be taken seriously. A mime. Yeah, some people don't like comedic tones. If it fits, it fits. Remember, guys, this was the 80s. A lot of movies were not taken seriously back then. But, some franchises should not have comedic tones. The Predator is not a comedy, guys. It's not. There she is. She was gorgeous, man. It's too bad that she retired so soon. Like, I never saw her in another movie. I saw Annette O'Toole and other stuff as well, including in Smallville. But what happened? Richard Lester directed this. This was all on him, and he was a more comedic director. I mean, when he did Superman 2, the theatrical cut, it was all on him. And Superman could be lighter. I mean, you can't make this into a dark and gritty thing. That's what Man of Steel did, and that was a total opposite of what I wanted. I don't want a Superman movie that's completely like Batman Begins or Dark Knight. It just doesn't work. A darker tone for a comedic character doesn't work for me. Excuse me. Yeah, there's nobody in the chat. That's fine. You can watch this when it's uploaded to YouTube later. And this is a movie that was ahead of its time. Computers. That's the thing that's the biggest thing in the world right now. Everybody's on a computer now because, we can't go out because of the pandemic. So they're like, yeah, we can communicate through machines and technology. And this was 1983 where there was no internet. There was no internet. There was no social media. There was no TikTok. There was no freaking YouTube. There was nothing. Back then, if you had a computer, it only did a few things. That's it. Robert Vaughn, I miss you, man. And I'm glad that he's not Lex Luthor. I like that he's different. I like that he's a different character. He's nothing like Lex Luthor. He's not over the top. He wants to own Colombia or something like that. Yeah, he wants to own land. Yep. Wait, what was her name again? Let me go back. Hold on. I got to put the subtitles. Lois Lane. Vera Webster. Yeah, that's another actress that passed away. I think she passed away last year. Mary Ross. She was a British actress, but she's missed too as well. She becomes a robot at the end, which is pretty cool, but the robot dies way too quickly. If you thought K2SO died too quickly in Rogue One, this robot dies after like 2 minutes of screen time. It's a cool looking robot. You should have used her more. It's like Cheetah at the end of Wonder Woman 84. Kristen Wiig's performance was not the problem. The problem was they underused her at the end. They make her a cheetah. It's like, I want to be a predator. She turns into cheetah. They have a 2-minute fight, and that's it. I'm like, what? This is not a syndicated TV show. You have to have longer fights in a CW show, DC. This is why Marvel's been kicking your ass since Iron Man. Yeah, The Dark Knight only made more than Iron Man because of Heath Ledger's death. Let's face it. This is the bingo machine. Yeah, I like this thing because people still play bingo today. I used to play it in college, but college is closed now because of, social distancing and all that. And I like that they bring back, go back to Clark's past, before he became Superman. And when he grew up in Smallville, I met another girl named Lana, who, nothing against Margot Kidder, I miss her, but Annette O'Toole is gorgeous. She's still beautiful to this day, man. She's in her 60s. She's still alive. Never had problems with bipolar disorder or drugs or anything. She stayed sober for most of her career. I will say this problem about the movie. There's way too many characters in it. If you thought the second movie had too many characters, this one has even more. Like that Irish guy that was with Lana, that he's an asshole. Yeah, you could have cut him out of the movie. He's not needed. He's only there because he has to be a rival for Clark, because Clark didn't have enough rivals in the first two films, or enemies. He just feels really forced. That's one character that could have definitely been cut out. He's basically my son, the astronaut from Spider-Man 2. Bye, Lois. We won't see you until like halfway through the movie. They did that because they wanted Margot Kidder to take a break, and I think this is when her bipolar disorder started kicking in. But at least they didn't disrespect her the way they did with Leia in The Last Jedi. That's inexcusable. You don't take a legendary actress like Carrie Fisher and make her freaking useless. I'm sorry. Making her fly in space. That insults me more because I love Star Wars more than Superman, only because I grew up with it and I collected more of the toys of Star Wars than any franchise, even to this day. But come on, man. How dare you disrespect a legend like her? At least Carrie didn't have to go through COVID, so. And I know why. Richard Pryor was kind of like bug-eyed back in the '80s because he did a lot of drugs, man. That fucks up your brain, man. That's why he was in a wheelchair, by the late '90s, and it sucks, man. And you can't exactly have him say F-bombs because this is a PG movie. You can't say fuck in a PG movie now. Back in the '80s, they could say one. You can't say 14 of them. And I like seeing him here than in Another View, where him and Gene Wilder, they're past their prime, they're broken down, and it sucks. Yeah, there's always all these taxes, and they take a lot out from you. But hey, I'm not going to get political here. $143, man. I haven't gotten that since I worked since I shoveled snow a few years ago. Yeah, they take a tax right out of everything because that's how the government works. But this is why I like taking bottles, man, because every little bit helps. Or finding cash on the floor because it's not there's no taxes, so every little bit helps, man. So if you see spare change on the floor, don't ever override all security. Yeah, he basically does the same thing that 10 years later, when Jurassic Park came out and Wayne Knight, he overrides the system in Jurassic Park and, lets all the dinosaurs loose from their cages and fences. Yeah, here we go. Now we don't see Gus for a while after this. Right, the chat's nice and quiet. That's good. I wanted to do this in peace and quiet, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes you guys go way overboard and you want to mention you know who. I told you he is banned. Banned. Well, this is the fire scene where Jimmy gets caught up again, just like in the first movie. Yep, kind of redundant, but you know what can I do? And I like the fact that they make Superman an asshole later on because the kryptonite that he makes, because he doesn't know the ingredients, the elements in the kryptonite, he puts tar, so it messes up his brain. It's like a smoker. They put tar inside of a cigarette, you know, guys. That's why I don't smoke. I want to keep my lungs clean until I'm old because I don't want to have problems breathing when I'm 65, which won't be for a long time. So lucky me, yay! And I like the fact that he doesn't have to hide from Lois in this movie, which is something different. Yeah, those cops didn't even see him go behind there. You know they have mirrors, right? But at least Superman is in the movie. He's saving people. That's what he does, guys. You people complain, oh, this movie's too comedic. It's a cartoon. He does save people. In Man of Steel, he barely saves anyone except Lois. There's a guy, you know, there's these people that are getting attacked, but we don't know who they are. Where Zod is like laser eyeing them, and I'm like, that's why I don't want to do a podcast for Man of Steel because it's not worth it. I like that the movie's more integrated. They have more black people, and they're not just background characters. This is like the burning building scenes in Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. See, at least he's doing something in the movie. People are like he doesn't appear for an hour into the movie. We are about 20 minutes in, and we've seen him twice. In Man of Steel, you don't see him in the suit until about an hour into the movie, which is way too long. Man of Steel did not need to be an origin story. Take notes from Spider-Man Homecoming. Skip the origin entirely and just go right to the nitty-gritty. We want to see the heroes doing stuff, not just sitting on their asses. That's one problem I have with Wonder Woman 84. It takes a long time for Diana to show up in the suit, like full on. In the first 10 minutes, you see her in the mall, and then that's it. You see her as Diana throughout most of the film, and she doesn't get back into the suit until like halfway through the movie, which, sorry, Jeff Johns, that's not what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Diana be badass like in the first film. Yeah, that movie, we had to wait for a while to see her in the costume, but they showed her as a little girl, and they showed her training on Themyscira, and then when she's finally in the suit, she earns it in the No Man's Land. Here, in the second movie, no. That was missing. There was no Man's Land scene. So I don't mind the chat being empty because, like I said, I don't really want to deal with the chat right now. Nothing against my friends there, just I need peace and quiet. I've had a long week. It's been very cold. I haven't done a review for several days, and I've been very tired, so had to do a lot of clothes. Jimmy, why are you shooting pictures in a freaking chemical plant? You know how dangerous those places are. I never go near those. The chemicals alone will kill you. You know they're flammable, right? It's like telling Marvel not to be, funny. WandaVision's hilarious. I haven't seen the new episode, so don't spoil it for me. I'm going to see the next episode later because I have plenty of time. I want to do this now to get it out of the way. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I was just tired. At least we still have Mark McClory still around. I think he was in. I think he made a cameo in Superman Returns, or it was the other Jimmy Olsen. I don't know. I miss Christopher Reeve, man. Every movie that I see with him, even in 4, which I'm going to get to, God, that movie's going to hurt. But hey, I will make fun of it with you guys in the chat. So, oh, that's when he freezes the lake and it makes it rain. Yeah. This movie still has the spirit of the first two, even though people are like, oh, this is garbage. I'm like, I never hated this movie. Even as a kid, I knew it was different, and I'm like, I like different when it's done well. When it's different and in a bad way, like Speed 2, that's a bad sequel. That's just like, oh, let's make a PG-13 Speed movie with no Keanu Reeves and with a lead guy that doesn't know what he's doing. Let's make Sandra Bullock a uncaring buffoon, unlike in the first one. That's not what we wanted, and do it on a boat instead of a bus. Yeah, on a boat you can just swim away. You can just jump off the boat and swim. It wasn't like Titanic, you know. And it came out the same year as James Cameron's Titanic, which is stupid. That makes no sense. Doing 2 movies on a boat, one of them sank and the other made $1 billion. Over $1 billion. And let's face it, Titanic only made all that money because of the effects and because of the romance that they had to force in there for 3 hours. Not everything I do live is going to be completely watched, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it. Yeah, he was. I miss him every single day that he hasn't been on Earth since 2004. That's why I saw Superman Returns in his memory, because I miss him so much. Um, Class of 1965. Well, my parents were kids at that time. I was born in 1985, so that's pretty cool. See, we got to see Superman. Now we go back to Clark's past. But there's no flashbacks in the movie, not like in the first 2. Beethoven. Yeah, I remember that song. There he is. This is this drunk guy. He could have been cut. You could have easily cut him out of the movie. He was in one of these cigar. I think he was in Death Wish 3. You know, when yeah, he's one of the villains there. There he's actually pretty cool. Because in that movie, he serves a purpose. Here, this is when he sees Lana. Oh my God, there's Annette O'Toole. She's so beautiful. She looks the same. Welcome back, class. She's so beautiful, man. Michael McKean's been married to her for many years, and he's a very lucky man. Actually, that doesn't make sense because his mom did not pass away because she shows up in Superman Returns. Unless that takes place before this, I think it does, but still. Martha Kent did not die because even in Man of Steel, she's there and BVS. Yeah, Annette O'Toole has one of those faces. It's just it glows, man. Yeah, he's just a drunk Irish asshole. Yeah, I've never seen that before. He doesn't have an accent, but still. Brad. Why is he drinking? They allow alcohol in that school? I don't know. I know they're adults, but still. Brad wasn't. I don't even think he was in Smallville, the TV show. And by the way, dude, you can find another woman. Why is always that guys are pining for a woman that's not there? That you know that they can that's not that's dating someone else. Earth Angel. This was before the first Back to the Future, which was in production at that time. I love that movie so much, guys. I will do a podcast for that one day because Michael J. Fox just retired, and I'm like, I miss him too, man. He's still alive, just man, I miss him a lot. Now we're back to Gus, yeah. Yep, people like to get paid. 80 $85,000. Wow. I know. That that sounds like a guy, orgasming. But yeah, if I made that kind of money, I would move out. Streamers, yeah. Now people are streamers. Of course you can. You're his first love interest. You're the Liz Allen of his Spider-Man. Pretty much. You never forget your first love. I remember mine. And she has a son in the movie. I don't like potato salad. These two also have a lot of chemistry as well. Apricot is apricot. Actually, Metropolis is New York City. They just can't say it. Basically, it's New York City. I know because I know what it looks like. In the fourth movie, they filmed it in England for some reason because I guess New York was hard to film in because of Ghostbusters 2 at the time. Yeah, the chat's nice and empty, which is fine with me. Sometimes I want to just do things without distractions. The chat is not a Q&A. This is to talk about a film, not a Q&A. If I wanted to do a Q&A, I would ask for it. Yeah, he did. He went in 2004 when he passed. I was so sad. I was just about to start college. There's Robert Vaughn. He shows up finally into the film. Yeah, Robert Vaughn. Man, I miss him a lot too. You don't realize how much you miss someone until they're gone, especially when they were a good actor or a good director or a good writer. Hmm. Yeah, computers. Again, the future, foreshadowing. Now everybody's on a computer of some kind. And unlike Harley Quinn, this girl doesn't annoy me. Yeah, I don't like Hot Topic Harley Quinn where Margot Robbie's ass is in my face and she has this stupid accent and she has way too much screen time. Oh, but she's a main character. I don't care. I don't care about the Suicide Squad, guys. There's a scene in the movie in the TV version where she's holding one of the penguins, and she waves at it. You know, she. I know people are going to disagree with me, but I don't care. I don't like that Hot Topic Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, or the Suicide Squad. It's not going to make a difference. They kill her off. They would have the balls to do that. I would give Warner Brothers a cookie. And also, I'm going to say this right now, whether one person or a million people watch me. In these movies, in a DC Marvel movie, whatever, females use their physical attributes to get men's attention when they're not gay. I'm like, again, I get it. As a heterosexual man, I get it. I completely get it. You saw he bought a car. Yeah, Brad, the only thing he does in this movie is he drinks. That's it. That's his character. I drink. And yeah, Ricky is the kid. Yeah. It's a cute kid. He didn't bother me. Again, why do guys do this? Just go away, Brad. You can find another one. I'm sorry. I keep saying that, but guys shouldn't drink when they can't hold down their liquor. Yeah. It's not a coincidence Kristen Wiig dolled herself up. She went with this frizzy, cute hair with glasses, and then she turned into a freaking Victoria's Secret model like in overnight. And I'm like, yeah, because Kristen Wiig is sexy. What can I say? I'm not going to hide how I feel. Who wouldn't want to be with that? She has one of the sexiest voices I've ever heard in my life. And I like Christopher Reeve's, like nerdy demeanor. Oh my God. People just complain about everything now, and I don't need that in the chat, especially when I do my podcast for Infinity War and Endgame. I'm going to do those in a few months after the winter's over. Also, this movie looks great. For Richard Lester did a good job filming it. It's not like the movie's hard to see. Like I'd rather watch this any day than Solo. Ross. And there's some talking in the movie, but it doesn't drag for 30 minutes. Some people said that this movie was that the movie was too comedic, and Wonder Woman 84 is too comedic. This movie doesn't drag for 2.5 hours, guys. It knew what it was. It's a little longer than Superman 2, but it doesn't have to start with a flashback like Superman 2 did. They recap what happened in the first movie. The first 5 minutes of that movie in both cuts is the ending of the first movie. The third act where He sees the kryptonite. He has to save Lois by turning the world around. And the movie, same thing. And the scene in the beginning where Zod and the rest of his gang get sentenced to the Phantom Zone. Booze. Yes, there's booze in this movie. This is a different time. In the 80s, a movie can have booze and be a PG movie. Now they can't do that anymore because, it'll give kids the wrong idea that drinking is cool, and it's not. Never heard of the Republican huh? Colombia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least Robert Vaughn is a different character. He's not just a ripoff of Lex Luthor. Yeah, he wants land also, but it's not his own land. It's like South America. The last bean? Attila. Yeah, sounds like 2020 in a nutshell. Everyone else must fail. Excuse me. His baby sister. Baby sister, she looks older than him. Vulcan? Her last name is Vulcan, like the race of people that Spock's people in Star Trek. That's not a coincidence. I bet the writers were Star Trek fans. Vulcan, yeah, that's right on the nose. No one's watching me, so I can just say this. Yeah, I don't mind Gus as a character. I know he's different than whatchamacallit, like he's no Zod. I mean, he's not really the villain in the movie. He's basically the second protagonist to Superman. And right after this came Supergirl. No, I will not be doing a podcast for that because I don't own the movie. It's very hard to find. And while it's flawed, I still like the film. It's stupid, trust me. I saw the film on Netflix. It's I saw it 2 years ago on Netflix, and it's still entertaining. I like Helen Slater and some of the action, and I like the lighter tone, and I like that it focuses on a woman. That's always a nice touch, guys. A real woman, not some freaking SJW or a slut like Harley Quinn's Hot Topic version. Oh, Annette, you're so beautiful. I would love to see her at a Comic-Con. We'll let her sign this DVD because she was in Superman 3. Oh, ouch. Oh, yeah, they have a dog here. They stole this from Man of Steel, where they have to save the dog, and yet the father dies. Pa Kent goes. Again, that's what I say to DC if you ruin The Flash. You ruin The Flash, and I'm done with you. I will never watch your movies again in the theater or on HBO Max. How do you like them apples? That movie is my only hope. A rainbow. Yeah, that's nice. A rabbit. A man. He's not. He's a drunk asshole that shouldn't be in the movie. He really has no qualities. He's just an alcoholic. That's it. That's not an interesting trait. Tony Stark was also an alcoholic. Oh, pate. He thought that was pate. Yeah, we're about a half hour in. Well, 40 minutes in. We still got another hour and change, which is fine with me because I'm going to be here all day. Oh, one person's watching me. That's good. At least the chat was nice and quiet this time. I had to. The chat was way too vocal last time I did Superman 2, and it wasn't even on the movie. It was on a Q&A. You like this movie? You seen this movie? You seen that movie? Focus on the movie that I'm watching. Don't go into tangents, people, please. Just say, why don't you just say, I like you. I want you to be my man. Again, why aren't people honest with each other? Just say what's on your mind. I'm going to say that. I'm not hiding who I am anymore. There's no reason for me to do that after being isolated for almost a year. I'm not the only one. And when Josh, you see this again, you're not the only one that's been isolated. I've been isolated for almost a year, and I'm still here, despite all some of the sanity I lost last year. Oh, this is when Ricky gets hit. Yeah, yeah. You saw they showed the supersonic sound from coming out of his ears. I never noticed that until now. Ooh, those machines. Yeah, they're good. And I like the fact that they don't use Superman a lot in the movie because, again, I know it's Superman 3, but him fighting a villain in the first 40 minutes would make sense because he doesn't know Webster yet. And yeah, it's a good effect. Ricky got hurt. I don't know how he got hurt. They didn't show what happened to him. Oh, he fell and hit a rock. Okay. Show, don't tell, because apparently in DC, they have to tell us everything, even though that's not what we want. We want people to show us what they can do. The Snyder Cut better be worth my time, DC. I mean it. I mean, granted, it took 4 years to make it, but the fans had to demand it on the internet. Release the Snyder Cut. That's not going to save the Suicide Squad. You don't make a good movie, the movie's gonna tank. Or Ricky, he didn't even know what happened. He was out cold. Yeah, those things are dangerous. Those things that cut down the grass, they're like giant lawnmowers. Next time, Ricky, don't play in the grass, in the grassy fields. Did you see Signs or Freddy versus Jason? A kid would never get busted open in a PG movie now. Like Frozen, you notice they don't show a drop of blood in those movies? A Jack Russell Terrier, just like in The Mask. It's basically the same kind of dog, except his face is darker. Yeah, because if one person watches me, that's good enough for me. I don't need a million people watching me. I'm not that big of a YouTube star yet. And I just started a new YouTube channel about almost a year ago. Well, last September. So when I do my Sonic one, and it'll be in February on Valentine's Day. So keep you lovers, keep your eyes open. This is when he gives Brad more booze. Yeah, because that's what we wanted to see. Brad drunk again. Is he using his white voice? Yeah, he's doing his white voice. It's like in Black Klansman when uh, John David Washington is using his white voice. Yep, drinking because that's what they want to do in a superhero movie. Yeah, that's all Brad does in this movie. He drinks. Alcohol kills brain cells. Apparently, people didn't know that, but it does. That's all Brad does in the movie. He drinks. That's not. Oh, there's product placement. KFC. That was the old banner. It was red. It was different back in the 80s. Yep, there they are. The computers. That's in a lot of the film. 'Cause everybody now is on a computer, like I said before. Yeah, before we had the Wi-Fi's and and all this social media, whatever. Brad just doesn't have a character. Like you could have easily cut him out of the movie and it would not make a difference. Who would he steal the keys from? Some random guy. Some movies just don't need filler characters. You could have cut them out. In Wonder Woman 84, there's another drunk guy as well. Yeah. Some drunk Harvey Weinstein asshole that goes after uh, Barbara. They're like, hey, sweet thing. And then she has to beat him up just to get her point across. At least this movie doesn't have man bashing. Just saying, the women in this movie don't bash the men, and there's a lot of men in this movie and a lot of women as well. Computers, yeah, because everything has to be powered by machines, guys, especially in 2021. What do you think I'm doing right now? I wouldn't have been done this without a Wi-Fi and a computer. Everything won with WWF Royal Rumble 1999. Oh yeah, that whole event when they did that, yeah. Mick Foley should not have gotten 10 chair shots to the head. That was just horrible. McMahon, I don't know what the hell you were thinking. Rock should have hit him once with a chair. That's it. Beating him over the head that was hard to watch. Yeah. When I first saw that, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna kill Mick Foley in this match. I'm like, it's an I quit match, Rock, not I'm gonna kill you match. Again, I'm not going to blame The Rock for that. I'm going to blame Vince McMahon and the writers for coming up with, oh, we got to beat the Mick Foley soundless. You know, senseless. Bloomingdale's. $176,000. Hey, that's an homage to the movie. What we call it that James Cagney did when he puts a fruit in a girl's face. Forgot what it was called. It wasn't White Heat. It was the other one. Public Enemy, I think. He does that. He puts a fruit in a girl's face. Again, different time, guys. Different time. Nowadays with computers, they can pretty much, hackers can do almost anything. They can literally control half of the stuff in the world. You know. Yeah, if computers ran the world, which they pretty much do now. Brad is still out. And I'm glad that at the end of the movie, in the third act, they use a supercomputer to fight Superman, which is something different. It's not two missiles again. There are rockets, but there's no two missiles, and it's not Lex Luthor using Zod and the rest of it and Ursa and them because they died. What are you going to go from here, you know? A weather satellite, yeah. Columbia. I don't know why they show Columbia in the movie, but and there's no subtitles because subtitles are for pussies. I didn't watch this movie for the Colombians. They're barely in the movie, so after this scene, you don't see them again. Not even at the end. They show Italy twice. The Leaning Tower of Pisa when Superman straightens it, and then at the end he turns it back, and then the Italian guy's like, give me the broom, and then he bashes the glass, and that's how the movie ends. It's kind of funny because he looks like Mario. Oh, that's it for my water, iced tea because I don't drink booze. Yeah, that's what happened when Hurricane Sandy hit New York back in 2012. It was awful. It was so terrible. Like the winds were massive, and the aftermath was terrible. Ugh, excuse me. Hmm. Also, PR also got hit with a massive hurricane in 2017. It was awful. Maria, yeah, it was so bad that the country was like totaled for like a year, and it didn't help what happened last year either. So, it's like, ha ha ha, they got hit by a hurricane. That's great. No, it's not. It's horrible. Yeah, there's some snow. Good thing I'm not Colombian, or I would take offense. He lives on a skyscraper on the top of the skyscraper. Hmm. You mean Wilkins coffee? And I think Robert Vaughn does a good job in the movie. I don't think he's a forgettable villain. Webster is a different character, and I like that. At least in this movie, Gus is not touching a wishing rock and telling people, "Do your wishes, do your wishes." That was too much. I'm like, what? You're stealing from Aladdin? DC? You really? You can't you do your own thing? No. They did it better in Ghostbusters a year after this movie. He's cute. Yeah, he's telling the story. He's telling exposition about what Superman can do. We know what he can do. Yeah, you shouldn't use those guys. Those air dryers in the I don't use those anymore. Even before COVID, I don't use those. I'd rather dry my hands with paper towels. It's safer because you don't know what comes out of those particles. Trust me. Yeah, tell us that he's doing all of this instead of showing us. Everyone's like, I'm not amused. He broke his chair. Basically, these are the Kryptonians. Like there's what three of them, and then there's the side villain. So basically, in this movie, because you have well in this case you have two women instead of one woman like Ursa, and then you have basically Gus is like Lex Luthor. He's the buffoon there. I know. Hmm. Again, we know that they gave in this scene they give Gus all this exposition. I'm like, we already know what Superman can do, and we know Krypton blew up in the first film, guys. You don't have to catch us up. It's not like this is the we know we already know what happened. If we already know, why are you telling us? It's like telling us Batman's parents died. I know. You don't have to tell me. Or in King of the Monsters, we already know the names of the monsters. You don't have to say it on screen. In Godzilla versus Kong, you do not need to say their names every 5 minutes. We know who Kong is. We know who Godzilla is. Let them fight. Stop wasting time explaining. I can't ski. This stunt is really well done. Oh my god. Oh my god. They would never try a stunt like this now. Not even a jackass stunt. You notice they don't show Richard Pryor's face because it's not him. He could have gotten killed. I can't ski them. Why are you wearing skis? We're almost done. We're about an hour into the movie. Yeah, 59 minutes. So we're almost done. And the chat was very quiet because I did it early. I don't want to do with 10 people in the chat talking about something else. I just don't want to do that right now. Not for this movie. Because last time we had a chat and yeah, there were some people that were not, you know, on board. They were just talking about a certain someone who's banned from any chats that I do from here until the end of time. See, there's one component that's not there. Tar. Tar. Yeah, that's what makes him bad. Because tar ruins your lungs. It's basically like sludge. That's why I don't smoke or vape. I don't need chemicals in my brain, in my inside of my body. I have enough trouble losing weight. Yeah, basically Lois is written out of the film, but I'm like, hey, you have Lana. That's good. That's a good enough substitute. At least Lana's likable. Remember when people had to use typewriters and landlines? Yeah, those days are long gone. Hmm. Yes, I know. And when they cast Brandon Routh, they cast him because he looked like Christopher Reeve. But it was good that they gave him a second chance in Crisis on Infinite Earths. These movies make me happy, except for 4, which we'll get to tomorrow. I like these movies. And this kryptonite, it doesn't look like it doesn't look that green. It's like dark green. It looks like an emerald. That's not it. They do find the kryptonite later in the movie. They have a beam that shoots him, and it's a real kryptonite. It starts to hurt him. This one doesn't. It's a nice cake. But there's one thing that this movie did better than Wonder Woman. Like I said, the pacing wasn't all over the place. There's very little action in the first hour, but to be fair, this was the '80s, guys. They didn't have $100 million back then. Not for any movies that came out because it was a different time. Yes, thank you, Christopher Reeve. You gave us so much. We didn't realize how much we missed you after your accident in the '90s. Yeah, that changed you forever. Spider-Man 3. Yeah, they do that. Except that movie was way. You thought this was comedic. Spider-Man 3 was way more comedic, and it was a little bit too overstuffed, guys. There's way too many characters in that movie. I do enjoy it, but you could have cut a third of the characters in that movie, and Amazing Spider-Man 2. And basically, Richard Pryor was doing a lot of characters in this movie because he did that in his other films. Mm, no, chemicals. Mm, not anymore. Yeah. Uh, Christopher Reeve's like, what the hell is he talking about? Plastics? Yeah, our new president, Joe Biden. Congratulations, Biden. Please make this world great again because we don't need any more bullshit. We already went through enough last year with that ex-president that we'll never talk about again here. And if you thought the Black Lives Matter movement was big now, back in the '80s, if you did, blacks could lead a movie. Yeah, Again, this isn't a church scene, guys. Get to the. And thank God we don't have to see Cavill in that suit again for a long time until the Snyder Cut. By giving him a kryptonite that doesn't kill him, it just makes him evil. I'm going to talk like this. And yeah, again, different time, guys. It was a different time. I'm just glad we don't have to see Superman suffer as much as in the first two. He doesn't lose his powers. That happens in 4, but that movie has way more problems than that. Trust me. We'll get to that. He should have thrown it away, right? Like, you know? Where's tissue? Yeah, remember when you had to use pay phones? There were no cell phones in '83. Again, it was a different time. It's like, oh, I'm gonna talk like this, like freaking this guy from that Stanley Kubrick movie. What was it called? Full Metal Jacket. Just a black version of that. Even in World's Finest, Joker says, "I'll kill Superman if you give me a few $1 billion. I'll kill him." I'm like, yeah, because he has that Kryptonite dragon. That was a good idea, by the way. That movie doesn't get enough love. I'm gonna probably do a podcast for it because it's very short. It's about an hour long. It's basically a 2-part episode of a show, but it was really well done because you have Batman and Superman in the same movie in the animated series, and it was really good. And I do like the fight in the third act. Well, right before he fights Webster and his rockets, when he has to fight himself, it's a good metaphor. See, he starts to get evil, and I'm like, yeah, but at least he's not dancing like an idiot like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. He's like, that's oddly specific. Did she tell her that, or does she is Lana a psychic or something? That's never explained. Because basically he's a more like flirty version. Like he's not dancing. At least that, you know. Not that the Spider-Man 3, yeah, that movie has a lot of problems. The dance is a stupid scene no matter what, and I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was hilarious. Hmm. Yeah, notice it's very quiet, this scene. There's not a lot of quiet scenes in this movie because every time Richard Pryor's in the movie's much louder. But it's not like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, everything he's in, he's loud and he just screams. He screams his dialogue. Pryor wasn't like that. Yeah. There's other scenes in the movie that were cut from this version. I wish there were like deleted scenes or something. And I like that this movie has no CG. And the truck still fell. See? Proves that Superman can't be everywhere at once. Yeah, now he feels underappreciated. So he's like, screw this. I'm going to ruin the world. There it is. The scene in Italy. Yep. There's Mario. I like to call him Mario. There's no subtitles, so I don't know what he's saying, but hello and all that. Yeah, here we go. This is when he straightens the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's supposed to look like that. This scene always I always remember this scene. If there's one scene I remember from Superman 3, it's this. He's like, oh, so I didn't make it on time? Okay, now I'm going to screw with City. It's a good effect, too. He's like, the hell is he doing? Yeah, that's basically the finger in this movie. There's Lorelai in her sexy little one piece. Oh, trust me, it will get worse in Man of Steel, where he doesn't give a damn about anybody except for Lois. Everybody in that movie just suffers because of him. I mean, at least this movie doesn't have collateral damage. They're up in the mountains, where nobody can. There's no buildings around. But in Man of Steel, they take it way too far. I'd rather see this any day over Man of Steel because it's shorter and it's not this depressing freaking melodrama. It is the scene where he blows out the torch. Is that Grease? Yeah, I think it's Grease. People should appreciate these older films because it'll make you appreciate the films. They'll make you feel better about films coming out this year because this is a masterpiece compared to what we're getting with the Suicide Squad. That's going to be an R-rated cartoon, and I'm like, again, I could watch Deadpool for that. You're not going to be better than Deadpool or Deadpool 2. I love James Gunn, but again, other than Guardians and his other films, like what was it, Super and what was it, Super and Slither? Yeah, he can work in an R rating, but in Super, I hated Ellen Page. She was awful, awful. British flag. Yeah, I'm sick of those people too. And you don't critique a poor reason. Yeah, and they make her like they think she's a dumb blonde, but she's not. She's a lot smarter than they think. And I don't mind a black lead in a movie. We're going to have a lot of that in the 2020s. We're going to have Miles is going to finally be in the MCU soon. Blade is coming back, and even though Black Panther 2 we lost Boseman, it'll continue with in his memory. So Pamela Stevenson, what a beautiful woman, right? She's from New Zealand. At least she's not some she's not from freaking Australian that has the most annoying accent I ever heard in my life. Pumping. Because for my Joker commentary, that was pretty lively, but that was Joker, guys. That's a recent movie. This is a movie from over 30 years ago that none of my friends were even. I wasn't even born when this came out. My brother was, but not me. And look what happens at the third act in this movie. The black guy turns on the white people. Yeah, I've never seen that before. I also miss Richard Pryor. I miss most of these actors. Some of these actors are no longer with us. We still got Pamela Stevenson, who's retired a long time ago. We still got Annette O'Toole. That kid that plays Ricky, I think he's still alive too. And Mark McClure and a couple of others. But yeah, a lot of the actors in this movie have passed. So I do miss them, man. I do. Whether they were funny or not, or whether they were in a movie that what was for 5 minutes or an hour. You don't mean, yeah, like I said before, you don't realize what you lost until it's gone. You appreciate what you have now because one day one night might not be there. Yeah, they have built a lot of computers. I mean, every year people are waiting outside of a freaking Apple store just to get a new phone or a new tablet or a new laptop. Because again, machines are running this world, guys. Without them, you wouldn't be able to stream anything. Hint, hint. Yep, machines. Well, I don't have anybody watching now, but it's okay. Two people watched. I'm not doing this for the views. I wanted to see the movie in peace. Oh, this is the oil tank when he spills the oil into the ocean. Yeah, this is usually the scene I got to when I saw it on VHS because I used to watch this movie on TV a lot. Because before I got DVDs and Blu-rays and digital, I had to watch it like that. Oh, that's when Gus shuts off the production. Yeah. Really, when you think about it, he's like Maxwell Lord, except Maxwell Lord didn't want land. He wanted to, people to make wishes so he could be the most powerful guy in the world, pretty much. British Reliance, yeah. Can't rely on them. They ruined a lot of the franchises in the last decade for me. Sorry, but that's just how I feel. And how is it that they're Americans on a British boat? I don't get that. Maybe they're descendants. I have no idea. That's never explained. Oh yeah, they cut that scene until later. Yeah, this is when they show the girl on the Statue of Liberty. An hour and 17 minutes in. Mm, it's a nice map painting. That didn't keep you from anything. Mm. Also, she's basically doing like her Audrey impression from Little Shop of Horrors. That squeaky little voice like this, yeah. Because again, but trust me, Margot Robbie could never turn me on with a voice like that. I'm sorry, just her face bothers me and those big creepy eyes. Just oh, this is when he has scruff on his face later, yeah, like a drunk. See, he destroys something because he's evil here. In Man of Steel, everything gets destroyed. All the buildings, all the cars, everything gets destroyed. And I don't like the look of the movie. They sapped all the color out of it, and it looks unfiltered. It looks filtered out, and it's just awful. I want a movie with some color, guys. Yep, spilling oil in the ocean, water pollution. Oh no. Christmas decorations. Did they film this in December? Yep, bosoms. That'll drive any man wild. Yeah, the saxophone is that. If that's not a that giveaway, you know what's about to happen. Hmm. Yep, I'm gonna have my way with you, Blondie. And cut. In the TV version, you hear her giggling and the what was it? Webster's sister. She puts like cotton the things in her ears. Yeah, that's in the TV version. I remember that scene. Yeah, he wanted to get busy. It's funny how he does this woman, yet she doesn't get pregnant yet, and yet Lois in the second movie did. And if people said I was wrong, no, he has sex with Lois before he loses his powers. So that's how his son is born in Superman Returns. There's your explanation, people. Yep, this scene could have been cut. This is like when things go to chaos in Wonder Woman 84. Again, your husband can't take care of himself. Yeah, I know. They're up in the mountains. Yeah. And like I said, the chat is so good that the chat is nice and quiet because again, nobody's awake. All these people that usually watch my videos are in the chat like between 12 and like 12 noon and 12 midnight. But sometimes I like to do things alone without having people bother me. I'm just saying I'm glad people like to interact with me, but when it's talking about something that's not the film, yeah, that kind of bothers me a bit. I'm not talking to myself. People will be able to watch this later, so it'll be on YouTube soon. Could stretch out a little bit. Movie's almost over. And there's Brad again trying to hit on Lana. He hits on Lana and he's drunk. That's his basic traits. Why? You're not a character in this movie. You're barely in the movie. You don't do anything. Literally, he's like the Vanessa Kirby of this movie. You could have cut her out. You could have cut her out of the movie, Fallout, and it would not make a difference to me. You could have given Solomon Lane to someone else. Just saying, guys. You don't need 18 million characters in your movies. You don't. Plus, they couldn't give Lois and Lana an equal amount of screen time in this movie because then it would overlap. And I didn't need a love triangle in this movie. That wasn't needed. You had that in the freaking TV series Smallville, which lasted about 10 years. Yep, whiskey or whatever that is. They actually homage this scene in Supergirl when there's an episode where she gets drunk. Also, she's not drunk. She destroys the bottles in the bar. Yep, I don't like drinking booze. That is a good visual effect. It looks like this was before Terminator 2, so they did this effect almost 10 years before T2. That's actually a good effect. Yeah, he has a little bit of scruff on his face. He's lucky he doesn't hit Ricky. Oh, after Man of Steel, you have no idea what you have no idea. See, his cape is darker. Yeah, he is sick because the tar messed up his brain. Yeah, once we get Cavill out of the DCU, I think it'll be better. Trust me, Marvel recast a lot of their roles, so DC can do the same thing. All I want is a good Flash movie, guys. You can do it. You have the resources, do it. Don't have it. So far, Iris is not in the movie, which is fine. Well, this is his. Ah, yeah, he goes. It's like a Super Saiyan scream. Trust me, that was my reaction after I saw The Force Awakens in the theater. I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs. See, this scene is supposed to look dark and gritty, but it's a good scene though. Clark versus Superman, the darker Superman. And I never bought Cavill. He's not supposed to be a sociopath. This scene is good. We didn't have this in Man of Steel. It was just, sociopath Superman destroying everything in the city. Sucker punch. Yeah. And Clark gets all this beat down, yet he doesn't die, which is weird. But like I said, he still has his powers. It's not like Clark lost his powers. I can give as good as I get. Spear. Yep, spear. Right into acid, and nothing happens to him. When the Joker fell in acid, look what happened in the chemical plant in the beginning of Batman '89, which was a great freaking movie, by the way. It still holds up. While this movie doesn't hold up as well, it's still not horrible. Ooh, he burned his suit, not his face. So continuity. What's that? Kylo Ren. Yeah, his powers are being drained because of that tar. The tar messed up his brain. And there was an evil Superman. Remember, Ken? Now's your chance. Yeah. Also, this was in the death and return of Superman, there is an evil cyborg Superman, which just makes sense. So this is a foreshadowing to what they did in the comics with the Superman. You had the cyborg Superman and Steel and Superboy. See, I know the comics, guys. I'm not stupid. I played that game in the '90s, and it was really good. One of the good Superman games that came out in the '90s. Oh no, he's gonna squish me like a bug. And this is a fight, but it's longer than the fight in Wonder Woman '84 with Cheetah. That fight is 2 minutes. It's way too short. It should have been a lot longer. Or introduce Cheetah in the third movie. But again, Warner Brothers wanted to rush things. That movie wouldn't have saved last year for me anyway, because it was just too long. This movie is a bit long, but it's not 2.5 hours. Without the end credits, it's about an hour and 59 minutes or so. We're almost done. Got 34 minutes left. The rest of the third act is a lot of action, so I'm not bored out of my mind. The third act, you have the scenes with the missiles, and then you have the supercomputer and the robot, and even though the robot could have been in it more, but I guess they ran out of budget. I don't know. But I do appreciate this film for being different. Not being like Halloween 3. It's part of the franchise, but it's something different. It's not just a copy of the first two. That's how I see it, like Halloween 3. Well, this is these are good effects for 1983. They still hold up better than a lot of CG in Man of Steel or BVS. Some of the effects in BVS. Like, look at this Looney Tunes. Oh, man, he got squished. And again, Clark doesn't have a scratch on him. That's great. He gets squished like Wile E. Coyote and nothing happens. Just when he kicks him right in the face. Look. Wham! Oh. Yeah, this is a good idea to do this live stream alone, because with 4, I need the support, because that movie is hard to get through. It's cheap, it's boring, and it's so stupid. It took the stupid way too far, just like Batman and Robin. I like the score here. It's a little bit different than Superman 1 and 2. It's more haunting and less, upbeat. But at the end, yeah, this is a great moment. As a kid, I love this scene. And he does everything to Clark, and Clark just doesn't die. This is when he breaks his glasses, yeah? He should have been crushed. This is an awesome scene, and grabs him right by the neck. At least he doesn't break his neck. He just grabs him by the neck. It's an uplifting scene, guys. So not a lot of people talk about this scene, but I think it's one of the best moments in the franchise. Yep. And he disappears. Goodbye. This scene is great. I love it. An hour and 30 minutes in. This is great. Yeah, I love this scene. That's a great scene, man. I love that scene. He's like, "I'm back, baby." I can't wait to see that in Superman and Lois. I know my friend thinks it's gonna suck, but I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people. It's about Superman, Lois, and their kids. What's not to like? Unless it's boring, yeah. Thank you, John Williams, for that score. I love that score. Yeah. Now the third act is going to kick into high gear. It's a good scene. It really is a good. It makes me feel empowered. I never got that with Man of Steel. I know a lot, or with Superman 4. There's no crowd pleasing moment like in this movie. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. There's New York City, man. I miss Manhattan. I haven't seen it in 2 years since Comic-Con. Dun, 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 dun. And I was like, Webster, your ass is grass now. And really, he doesn't see Webster until the end of the movie. Lorelei Ambrosia, remember that? Where you'll find us. Do drop in. Yep, they're up in the mountains. Like it looks like Colorado. Yeah, they he doesn't like heights. Yeah, they're in balloons. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's something different. Yeah, he takes a donkey. That's really cool. I don't know if they have these things anymore. These balloons where you could just sit and it's a donkey, not a horse. And I'm glad the third act is not in Metropolis again, like in the second movie or the first one. Thus, this is a PG movie. It's inoffensive, guys. The most offensive thing in this movie is the drinking, which they don't do in PG movies anymore. They made it, and yet it takes Gus almost an hour to get there. Yep, the ultimate computer. Yeah, like the computers from today. Really? You don't need the black guy in the third act? Well, he turns on you, and I bet people didn't see that coming. The show, see, her accent was slipping out. See, again, she can't say show. It's show, not show. She's like it's like when Sophie Turner tries to do an accent. That sound effect, I heard it before. Yeah, Superman against a supercomputer, which that's something different, guys. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that scene where they're in the dark. I'm like, again, better. It's still better lit than Solo, where I can't see a thing. The whole movie is in the dark. There's not even color in the movie. I'm like, yeah, the movie could have been better lit, guys. Come on, I can see the action in this movie at least. There's some rockets, yeah. I look at this video game screen. At that time, the Atari came out. Yeah, well, it was around. The NES didn't come out till 1985, so after Supergirl came out. Rockets. At least it's not. At least it's not his score. He's getting a high score. It's like a video game. Yeah. That looks awesome. I like that those video game graphics. Still better than Superman 64, which would come out in the 90s and horrify gamers. I never played it because I knew it was going to be crap. I hadn't played a Superman uh, game since I think the Death and Return. Yeah, because other than in Lego Batman 2, where you can play as Superman, yeah, I haven't played a Superman game in a long time. This already. This is the big missile. Oh, nice. That was nice. When he kicks the missiles, yeah. Yep, they're blowing shit up because that happens in every movie now. In every DC or Marvel movie, they have to blow something up because that's what people want to see. Yes, in the TV version, there's more dialogue. They give Lorelai more dialogue. It's too bad they didn't put it here. Game. Well, you can't blame Robert Vaughn. He wasn't exactly young when this movie came out. I mean, he was young in the '60s when he did Man from Uncle, but the TV show, that is. Yep, he got him. Ouch. Yep, it took him an hour. Don't worry, they didn't harm the animal. Yeah, come up and join the fun, and then he turns on him. Yeah, who knew? This is a twist that actually makes sense, unlike Iron Man 3, where, yeah, the Mandarin's not a real villain. He's just a pawn. He's just a pawn. At least the villain in this movie is not a twist, you know? I'm sorry, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That guy's gone. Yep. Don't underestimate the power of computers. Yeah, never underestimate it, guys. Invisible shield. See, yeah, I do like this weapon. It's something different. The effects look pretty good, even for '83. I mean, it's what, like 38 years old? It's in a bubble. That's how 2020 was. I was in a bubble for 10 months. Now it's 10 months. People nowadays they just want every superhero movie to be just action packed from beginning to end. That helps, but sometimes I want to see a story unfold. Endgame would not be the movie it was if it was like the first hour was just nonstop action without any time to breathe. Don't bet on it. Here comes the other gun. Yeah, that's the Kryptonite beam. Yeah. This is when Gus is like, no, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to see a man die in front of me. Hmm. I think this ending is better than Wonder Woman because again, it's an action scene. They don't have to say, "I'm going to talk you to death." No, that was really underwhelming at the end. I'm sorry, and I don't hate that movie, but again, there's things in this movie I prefer because it's shorter. And the fact that Gus turns on them, I'm like, again, Yeah, there was also a scene where on TV where it's longer, where they have Ricky and Lana are on a train, and then the lights go off. Again, that was in the TV version. I don't know why they cut that in this version. This movie needs another cut, like to add those scenes back in. He swallows it. Oh, nice sucker punch. No, but it goes back on. Auxiliary power. Actually, no, I think the scene in the train is kept. Yep, make it stop. Well, no, there is the scene. They didn't cut it, but there are scenes that are cut. It wants to live. No, they do. They do keep the scene on where they shut it off. I forgot. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't seen the movie in a while. Last time I heard the commentary, this is when the lights go out. Yeah, so they do keep this scene, but there were scenes that were cut from the TV version. There's a scene on the train. I'm my bad. Red light. Oh, I don't like it. An axe. Yep, at least when he smashes something, unlike Kylo Ren, it's to help somebody, not be laughable. Oh yeah, that beam. That beam is pretty cool. I like that beam. Oh man. Knock down a brother, will you? Yeah, this is when she turns into the robot. But again, I would have liked to have seen more of this robot. Ah. She turns into kind of like a Terminator. Yeah, this is a year before Terminator came out. That's an awesome design, by the way. It's a good effect for 1983. Again, this was a movie made for its time, guys. It's like, I'm going to give you the finger. That's like if they had the Terminator at the end of Terminator for like 2 minutes. No, you see a lot of Arnold. Hey, Josh, the movie's about to end. So you made it to the third act when the robot shows up. But at least you made it. At least it wasn't 18 people here. Oh, this is when he gets that little jar of chemicals to kill the machine. This movie didn't feel that long, I guess, because I've seen other DC movies that were much longer. Yeah, it's a chemical. It's a nuke. Danger level 0. Annie, I'm stuck here. Yeah, this is great. When he does this, yeah, that's an awesome scene. That's an awesome effect. And that's it for the robot. Yep. She's on screen for 2 minutes, just like Cheetah, and that's it. The machine, the robot, the freaking computer had more to do in the movie. There's the chemical, yeah. I think the film is underrated. I don't think it's the worst of the franchise. That would be four. Four is still the one to beat when it comes to the cheapest, worst Superman movie that's ever been made from by an American. I'm doing just fine. Just getting ready to watch episode 3 of WandaVision. I want to see it later. All my family's awake right now, and I don't want to. I want to actually hear the episode. I'll see it later tonight. I have plenty of time. That's only about 30 minutes. This was almost 2 hours. Yep. When you let a chemical out, it reacts and then it's a good effect too. There it is, splatter. That's basically jelly, but it looks good. It looks less cheap than Superman 4, but we'll get to that tomorrow. That I'm gonna rip apart, and it gets right through the floor. Yeah, yeah. That robot was cool, and it's only in the film at the very end. Now, Josh, when this is uploaded, you can see the whole thing of what I said earlier for the first hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, at least Lorelai doesn't die in this movie. That would have pissed me off. But with the Suicide Squad, we don't know about Harley Quinn. She can die, guys. That could happen. Joker's not coming back, so she has no one to protect her, and she doesn't have the Birds of Prey either. Yeah, yeah, she didn't die either. She just got squished. Also, him doing the hand thing, the hand gesture, the when black people do their nice handshakes, didn't bother me, guys. It was a different time. There's there's Gus, yeah. WandaVision, I'll watch it eventually. I have time. It's not very long. There he is. This is the handshake. And people like, oh, I'm so offended. I miss them both, guys. I'm sorry. Call it nostalgia, but I do miss both. Yeah, acid. Yeah. Oh, Christopher Reeve, man. Have I mentioned that it's been almost 17 years since his passing, and that I miss him? Him and Richard Pryor died in the same decade. Oh yeah, this is when he finds the diamond, so he can give it to Lana. That's beautiful, a diamond. I like this scene, guys. It's heartfelt because I miss them both. Oh man, I miss Richard Pryor a lot. Some people can walk 9 or 10 miles. I miss him, man. I miss him every day. I didn't see a lot of his R-rated stuff until like a couple years ago, but man, you don't realize what you lost until it's you don't see it anymore. But that's why, yeah, Josh, I'm gonna say this right here. I'm not gonna take your friendship for granted anymore, man. I'm not gonna do it because you've been more than kind to me. You, Tevia, Anthony, and Parker, you guys took me in when no one else would. So yeah, enjoy WandaVision, man. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I guess because I miss these guys so much. All of them. I miss Margot Kidder. I miss Christopher Reeve. I miss Richard Pryor. I miss Robert Vaughn. I miss them, man. This is a very sweet scene too when he gives her a ring. And there's Brad for the last time in the movie because we haven't had enough of Brad in the first hour of the movie. The only curse word in the movie. We know, Brad. Yeah, Lois comes at the very end of the movie. But again, I miss these people so much, man. No one's gonna miss Amy Adams as Lois because she just didn't embody it for me. I know I'm getting emotional, just like I did at the end of Power Rangers. I guess because when a movie hits me, it hits me. At least in Power Rangers, most of that cast we still have. And we go back to Italy to see. Yeah, this is when he pushes the thing back, and then the movie ends. Grazie. Kylo Ren. And that was Superman 3. I still enjoy it, guys. I miss these people so much. I know I got a little bit misty-eyed at the end because, again, I miss these guys so much, man. They gave me something entertaining even back in the 80s, you know, when this came out. Thank you, movie. And that was Superman 3. While it's not my favorite in the franchise, I still get misty-eyed at the end because we will never see Richard Pryor and Christopher Reeve again, but I'm glad they gave us this film. I missed them a lot. They were a big part of my childhood growing up, especially Christopher Reeve. I miss Margot Kidder. I miss all these people that have passed away. But, you know, the memories will live on. Thanks for this movie, Richard Lester. That was Superman 3. I'm really happy I got to watch that again. And thanks for Josh joining me in the podcast. You were the only one that left a comment. Again, I'm not taking your friendship for granted anymore. You're a part of my life. I want to enjoy while I still have it. But next time, we're not going to get emotional because then we have the last Superman movie with Christopher Reeve, Superman 4. But we'll get to that tomorrow. Thanks for watching, those who watched me get through all these films. The first 3 films I enjoyed. 4, yeah, we're going to suffer a little bit. But at least I'm not going to suffer alone. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.